Yeah, the sound for this is the third video. Yeah, the sound. Technically, you should use one of these Deja Vibe things for British size. Trower doesn't use this one anymore. He uses, I've seen him. He uses like the foot pedal one. It looks a bit like a adjustable one. It's almost like a wah pedal that you can adjust the intensity. This button. Now I don't like this pedal. It cost me a lot of money as well. I say I don't like it. I haven't really played around with it, and I certainly haven't been playing around with it since I've been into my sort of Hendrixy phase this past month or so. So I will give it another go, but you should really use one of this sort of thing to get that sort of sound, wobbly sort of sound. In the old days, he used an original vibe, and they were very temperamental. Apparently, you can get them. They're very expensive. This is a full tone one that I use. He uses a full tone actually. Yeah, that's the name of it. I don't know what. I can't remember the flipping names of these things. It's all irrelevant to me anyway. I am a bit of a tone freak, to be quite honest with you. You might not think so. You hear my videos, but I'm sure a lot of it is. I listen back to them on YouTube, and they just don't sound right. They don't sound like they do in the room. I've got quite a creamy sound anyway, so a bit too distorted. I have to play it, but anyway, to get the sustain I want. But yeah, but I'm using. I don't know if the light's good enough in here to do this. But I'm using an MXR 90, phase 90, and then you can just adjust the rate. As you can hear that, wah, wah, wah. If I turn it off, there you go. And I use a little bit of I use quite a bit of drive. I use a fuzz pedal. I like that fuzz pedal. It's not got a lot of bottom end, but I can get the bottom end with the other pedals. I bought an OCD the other week as well, and I don't know if there's something wrong with it. But when I tried to do this video, I couldn't get any signal through it. But I was playing it through the battery. Perhaps the battery's gone. I left it plugged in. That's probably what happened. But I couldn't get any sound, and I had to unplug it. But that's a fantastic pedal, that OCD, but not as a drive pedal in my setup. I use 2 amps. I've got an old 1973 Marshall 2x12 combo, and I use one of these little Mesa Boogie things, and they're not compatible. I used to like a sound. I used to use a H&H with the Marshall, and it sounded better actually than the Mesa Boogie. But obviously the Boogie's a much better amp on its own, but actually in combination with the Marshall, it filled in all the gaps in the floors in the Marshall. Not that Marshalls have got that many floors, especially if you can turn them up. It sounds incredible, my amp, if you can play it loud. But yeah, and I use compression. Trower does not use compression, but I'm using it at very low volume, and I like the squash. I've got a bit of drive before the fuzz, and then sometimes I do use that OCD afterwards, more as a boost. It's a fantastic boost pedal. I think stacked boost. I've actually got the drive turned up, I see, so I've always been messing around with it on its own, but usually I turn the drive down, use it as a little bit of a creamy boost. It's very thick sounding, whereas the fuzz pedal hasn't got no bottom end. Not like that big muff, that green big muff there, that has got loads of bottom end. But I prefer the fuzz pedal. I'm pretty fussy. I've got as I say, I've got loads of other pedals as well. In fairness, I've only got a few on the board at the moment. I've only got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and one of them's a volume pedal. I think only 7 of them pedals are in. I do like using the flanger as well, but I swapped the flanger out for the OCD when I think I only got it last week or a week before. Time goes so quickly, I can't remember. I use a wah sometimes as well, but they do suck the tone out of the signal. Yeah, so that's the sort of sound to get. I did have the volume backed off until I played. When I was just making the video, I did have the volume backed off a little bit as well, just to clean it up a little bit. And the pickups on that guitar are Fat 50s, Fender Fat 50s. which I didn't like until I tuned the guitar down. If you watch the first video, that's another thing to note with this white guitar is I've got it tuned down to E flat. It's the first time I've ever done it. About 3 weeks ago, I tuned it down. It's absolutely transformed the guitar. It's a guitar I never liked, and I should never have bought. But I ordered it online when it came. I thought I liked the feel of it. I just didn't like the way it sounded, and I just played around with it, and I just couldn't get it to work right. And then something as simple as tuning it down. Obviously, it's half a note below concert pitch, but it does iron out a lot of the problems. Anyway, I am waffling again, aren't I? Right. Anyway, I'm going to go then. Right. I hope it helps. If you want any other info about any of my stuff, just send me a message. I'll always answer any questions I get. Apart from the ones that say, "You fat slap-headed idiot, why don't you just shut up?" Well, I should answer that. I could answer that now, because I am a fat slaphead idiot. That's why I waffle so much. But anyway, it's just part of my charm. Anyway, goodbye. Hope this helps.